Chapter 10, Two Birds, One Stone. Now, I've never really gotten the phrase killing two birds with one stone, for a number of reasons. For one thing, the stone in question would have to be big enough to take out two birds, which to me at least would suggest it'd be heavy and therefore hard to throw. And for another, well, they're birds. If they saw someone throwing a stone that big in their general direction, I'm sure they'd just fly away quite easily because, well, that's what they do, isn't it? Instead, the way I picture it is Wile E. Coyote plants some birdseed laced with sleeping tablets on the road, and the roadrunner, as well as one of his friends, comes along and gobbles them up. Then they both get drowsy. Wile E. Coyote is standing at the edge of a huge cliff face and drops a boulder off the side of it, finally getting both the roadrunner and his friend Et Voila, killing two birds with one stone. The reason I've been pondering this phrase at work lately is because it's occurred to me I could get rid of both Jasmine and this new guy in the one action if only I could see what that was. Jasmine's incompetence is unbelievable. Her cashiering shifts never balance, she's always late, and when she cashiers, she just stays in the booth the whole time even when it's quiet and never helps anyone out. The buzzards are circling in the form of Christine, who has been acting really bitchy lately and just seems looking for someone to take out all her impotent rage on. Christine's sort of like the referee in a WWE SmackDown match. She's hardly ever around when needed and doesn't see the most obvious things going on right in front of her, but occasionally she'll remind you of her presence just long enough for you to remember why it is you hate her. "Mike?" the new guy says as he briefly pops his head out from his office as I cashier today. "I've got a very important meeting with management I have to attend shortly. While I'm away, I expect you'll keep the place clean and tidy. Don't forget to clean the bar and coffee machine as you go. Keep everyone served with coffees and keep everything running smoothly. I'll have my mobile phone on me, but I don't expect there to be any problems." His voice trails off as he departs with a warning look behind him. "Sure," I say and smile. "Not a problem." If it's one thing reading The Art of War has taught me, it's that sometimes you have to play the long game. Appease your enemies while you're plotting the next move, and since I have no idea what that next move is at the moment, I may as well just stay on this guy's good side. For now. And so the morning progresses at a leisurely pace. Apart from the odd mug punter bringing me a cash ticket here and there, I'm not exactly busy. Completely different to night shifts where I'm basically running from one machine to the next the whole time. The downside to the quiet shifts is that time basically drags and I find myself glancing at the clock more than usual, just praying for time to go faster, though it never does, of course. As I'm standing at the cashier's booth, Vula comes up to me as she examines a ticket in her hand and passes it to me. She's wringing her hands a little bit and seems nervous about something. Maybe she's having a bad day with her system, I think to myself. Either that or one of the other mug punters finally had enough of all her free advice about her wonderful system and told her where she could stick it already. Most of these people, Angry Joe especially, are not exactly known for their anger management skills. "Mike," she asks me, "I can't see this thing so good, left my bloody glasses at home again, can you believe it? Can you tell me if it says 299 or 269? I say, as I hold it up and look at the ticket. $299. But just then I remember all the times Vula's gotten me in the shit with management, like the time she told George that I looked like I didn't want to be here. And I have my answer. 269, I reply. "Would you like to collect that now, Vula?" I ask in a helpful tone. Yes, I'll do that now," Vula says. And so I go through the motions of validating her ticket, pleased with how I've just scored $30. There are, of course, a few dilemmas, though. Not the should I or shouldn't I dilemma, that one's easy. Basically on this job, if I can get away with it, I'll give it a try. No, the real dilemma is how I can pocket the $30 without the cameras noticing, gotta find a blind spot when I'm adding up my cash at the end, and B, what PS3 game I'll put the money towards. I hear Saints Row 4 is supposed to be lots of fun. After our business is transacted and Vula has left, blissfully unaware of the fact that she hasn't just been robbed by the machines today, but also by me, Kate comes up to the cashier's counter. She seems happier than usual today. "It's great without that pissed-up tradie," Kate begins, and I concur, nodding at once. "You know what else I heard? Angry Joe has been going to another club lately, or so the rumor goes. I know I haven't really seen him this past week or so. Can't say I'll miss him either." The last time I was running a tray of food around, he grabs me by the wrist so he can get his hands on a few more free snacks. I hate that prick. "We'll always have Vula," I tease with a grin. "Hard to imagine her going anywhere. She's like a part of the furniture or something." "Yeah," Kate replies. "Her and that system she's got, the one she's been running for. I don't know how many years now. Not exactly a get-rich-quick scheme, though, is it?" Now, Kate," I answer, wiggling a finger. "Don't you know anything about business? First, you have to lose some money before you can make some money." Kate just shakes her head at this and then heads off back to the machines as a woman calls her over for assistance. Just then the phone rings and I'm looking at it trying to decide whether or not to answer. Because it could be something simple, but then it could also be something truly annoying. Like someone booking a table at the bistro and they've got 20 bloody questions about it. No, I wanted a table by the kids' play area outside. No, I'm not sure how many people there will be exactly. Then why are you making a bloody booking? And so on. "Hello," I answer as I snatch up the phone and it's hard to hear anything at first. "Who is this?" seems to be Jasmine's voice. "Mike, is that you? It's Jasmine here. I having big accident in car. My fiancé don't drive me this morning and I drive and I don't see car. This is all your fault, you know. You didn't teach me car. Bad man." Well, there's a surprise, I'm thinking to myself. Given how badly she failed her driving test last time, she probably hit someone's car while reversing out of her own fucking driveway. And to be honest, for an instant, I almost felt sorry for her, but then she went and blamed me for her latest fuck-up, something she's notorious for at work as well. "Could you please be telling this new man or Christine that I don't be coming in today as I will have to get car fixed?" Jasmine says. "Can't you?" I reply in broken speech as if the line is just simply awful. "Bad line. Back to cashier. Call. New guy on 043491. Get that? Good. I have. Go now. Talk." And then I drop the receiver rather unceremoniously back down as I look around, feeling rather pleased with myself. 2 crimes committed, and it's not even lunchtime. This calls for a celebration. So as one old guy orders an affogato and an Irish coffee, I decide to make myself one on the side. I do so in the camera's blind spot, and as I clean the coffee machine, I sip at it every now and again, and it tastes pretty good. The trick is to using just the right amount of Baileys. But of course, as I'm enjoying the drink, the phone rings again, and since I'm in charge of the gaming area for now, it's my responsibility to answer it. Hope it's not bloody Jasmine again, because if she keeps calling, then someone might catch on to my little game here. "Hello," I answer. "Mike?" Now there's a voice I didn't expect to hear. It's George. "I thought you were taking some time off, Georgie," I say as amicably as possible. "Yeah," George says, "but I heard about what happened with Julius. It's a PR nightmare if we don't do something about it, you know what I mean? Bit of damage control. Management spoke to me about it and we think it'd be a great idea if you, Kate and Luke, could visit the poor bastard while he's recovering. Someone could get a card signed from all of us at the club. Something like that." I'm thinking to myself, didn't know the club really cared about. "Yep," George continues. "With any luck, we can avoid a nasty lawsuit." I think to myself as the penny drops. Concerned with money once again, well, at least we're consistent at the club. "Right," I reply, and so as I grab pen and paper, George gives me the details of where Julius is recuperating. Maybe I should feel guilty about my little part in his winding up there, but I don't. The fact is that the only question in my mind wasn't whether or not someone would assault Julius, but when. Frankly, I'm surprised it took this long. After a bit of general chit-chat and me listening to George bitching about his wife as usual, a few things become clear to me. Number one, that this little break isn't going to make a rat's ass of difference to him, and that it isn't the scenery that needs to change. He does. And number two, if George doesn't get better swiftly, then I'll be forced to deal with the new guy for just that bit longer, not exactly a prospect that puts a smile on my face. Something that does brighten my day, however, is when the always unfashionably dressed Big M waddles her way towards one of her favourite machines with the aid of a walking cane. Then again, I guess it's not her fault about her obvious lack of fashion sense. I imagine that Sass and Bide doesn't make a summer dress collection in circus tent size. The big round sunglasses she wears cover most of her face, making her look like a bullfrog with unnaturally big bug eyes. At least if I ever have a problem with premature ejaculation, I'll know what to think about to take my mind off sex. I'll picture the Big M naked and all sweaty on the end of a chain swinging around the place as Vula dances around in a bikini singing wrecking ball, in Greek, while heavily intoxicated. It's not long before Kate is at the Big M's side, chit-chatting with her, and in no time at all taking a food order from the big girl. Yes, and I'll need a wheelbarrow of chocolate mousse because my blood sugar is a little low today. Maybe a plate or two of spaghetti because I'm a bit peckish as well. Damn this diabetes. But as easy and fun as it is to poke fun at the Big M for her noticeable lack of restraint when it comes to food, I know I have my weaknesses as well. Like when I'm taking food around the gaming area and find myself out in the smoking room scoffing down a few pieces of pizza, party pies or desserts, partly out of hunger and partly because I figure since I'm the one working, I deserve them more than the fat, lazy old bastards playing the machines. "Hey," Kate says as she walks over to me. "The Big M isn't too happy today for some reason. Keeps going on about her dead husband." "Yeah," I reply. "She has those days, doesn't she?" "Well, you're on the floor. Just try and keep her relatively cheerful if that's possible." "Wasn't Jasmine supposed to be coming in today?" Kate asks, changing the subject, and looks at the clock then. Not unusual for her to be late, but this late, did she call or anything? I just shrug. "I didn't get any calls out here," I say, maintaining my cover. "There was this one person who wanted to cancel a booking. Something about not being able to come on the day, but the line was so bad I couldn't make out half of what they were saying." "Oh well," Kate says. "Not my problem, I guess." And with that, she heads over to the bistro section to put in an order for the Big M moments. Later the phone rings again and I hesitantly pick it up. "Mike, I just thought of something," the new guy says. Damn it, we'll have to come up with a nickname for this guy. The coffee machine hasn't been cleaned in a little while, and as you know, we have to maintain the high quality of our coffees here at the club if we want to keep the punters coming in. Make sure you do a chemical clean today, one filter at a time, so the customers can still order coffees, and then make sure the system gets backwashed to clean it out properly. That's all for now. And with that thought, he hangs up, leaving me with a daunting idea that chills me. Not the prospect of having to clean the coffee machine, but the thought that he might start calling periodically to check up on me and give other annoying little orders just because he can. Bastard. But at least now I have a nickname for the new guy. Newman, as in the fact that he is the new man around here, and also because he reminds me of the character from Seinfeld with his shifty-looking eyes and the fact that he's always getting on my nerves. More out of boredom than anything else, and since the few customers aren't winning and their machines aren't running out of coins, I decide to clean the coffee machine's filters out with chemicals as per Newman's instructions. I backwash one, then start doing something else and forget which one I've done when an idea occurs to me. From the front of the coffee machine that is a customer's perspective, it looks like I'm busy with my hands doing something to the machine, cleaning, maintenance, or whatever. Since there are no cameras watching it, there's no one to notice that I'm actually just playing Angry Birds on my phone. But it's just not as enjoyable as playing a game on a big screen TV. And so after a while, I get bored of this too and go back to my cashier's area. It's times like today that I envy Kate for being out on the floor. She can walk around and talk to the customers she likes, if such creatures actually exist. Ignore the ones she doesn't and watch them play the machines or actually look outside to see what the weather will be like and all the rest of it. Me, I'm just stuck here under these two bright lights like some glorified bank teller. God, I'm bored, Kate says, echoing my thoughts as she passes by then, and as the phone rings, she snatches it up before I can reach it, and I give her a nasty look as she pokes her tongue out at me. Gaming, Kate says in a pleasant tone. No, Jasmine hasn't arrived yet. Was she supposed to be working today? No, I haven't heard anything from her, and neither has Mike. Yes, we've got everything under control here, no need to worry. Kate listens for a time then. Yes, I'll be sure to let her know. Okay, no problems, goodbye. And with that, she hangs up. Geez, Kate says, and shakes her head. I would not like to be her at the moment. The new guy's going to tear a new one if she ever comes in. And this puts a smile on my face, one that even Vula's reappearance at the cashier's station cannot erase. That bloody woman, Vula begins. This Millie thinks she owns the bloody venue, putting those reserve signs all over the place. I can never get to my favorite machine, Mike, you know. I see what you mean, Vula, I reply in a friendly tone to try to appease her. But then you haven't tried the, where's the gold machine lately, have you? Did I ever tell you about the time But then I see the look in her eyes and decide not to tell her the Crown Casino story for the 50th fucking time. I'll save that one for a rainy day. Just then, I hear a clatter of a tray and cups and glasses falling, a yell, and Newman appears with his pants covered by a stain as he curses again. Bloody coffee! Newman barks. Just got these pants dry cleaned the other day and look at them. And where the hell is Jasmine? That stupid girl is down to her last warning, I swear. I am this close to... Hello, everybody, Jasmine says in her usual annoying tone as she begins walking behind the bar, and Newman stands there with his hands on his hips, looking like that little teapot in the song, short, stout, and steaming mad. And where the bloody hell have you been? Newman says harshly to Jasmine, who looks back blankly as she stops in her tracks. My car was... Jasmine begins to say, but then Newman cuts her off by putting up a hand. The car! Newman almost groans. Always something about your bloody driver's test or your damn car. I don't want to hear it. You were supposed to start hours ago. Just get out on the floor and start doing your job. But I'm supposed to cashiering today, Jasmine protests rather weakly, looking confused still. Mike will cashier. Kate will look after the bistro customers at the bar, Newman explains. And you will take coffee orders and make them for the customers with a smile on your face. I want to see as little of you as possible. And there better not be any other problems. I have to go to my office and change my pants. Damn coffee, Newman grumbles, and with that, he disappears into his office. It's difficult to say which one of them I hate more at the moment, Newman or Jasmine. On the one hand, sure, Newman is an annoying prick who's cut my hours in the short time he's been here and is always ordering everyone around as if he's just been appointed GM during his temporary stay here. But then that's to be expected. Jasmine, on the other hand, just walks around like a pretentious model on a catwalk with this stuffy, I'm all right, Jack, screw the rest of you attitude. It's like she too knows she's only here for a short time, so why put in anything more than the absolute bare minimum of effort around here? Just as we have our honeymoon phase with a new job, so too new managers and supervisors have a phase where they try to assert themselves over the staff. And then they realize this isn't getting them anywhere, and they fall back into a near enough is good enough routine to please the brass just the same as we do. As the day goes on, I begin to get that niggling sensation that I've forgotten something. Oh well, it's probably not important. I watch Jasmine as she goes around the room trying to be extra nice to everyone, but she's not winning any points with Vula, since I can still hear her going on and on about the bloody reserve signs again. Kate serves a few bistro customers drinks, and then as the raucous becomes impossible to ignore, she joins me beside the cashier's counter and we both watch the show. This machine hasn't been played for a little while, Jasmine says, after turning her key and looking at the machine's display. And With our earlier phone conversation still fresh in my mind, and the fact that she's still nagging me about giving her driving lessons and pretty much blamed me for her car accident, I think it's time I repay her in kind. So I failed to mention to Jasmine that the machine she's just taken the sign off is the Big M's. You can play this one if you'd like, Vula. But of course, no sooner has she said this does the Big M look over and say, "Hey, that's my machine. I was playing that one. I put the sign on it and everything." Immediately, Jasmine has to reverse herself. "I'm so sorry, Millie," she says. "I didn't know that was your machine. Is there anything else I can do for you?" It's at about this point that Vula more or less explodes. "Unbelievable!" she shrieks. "Can't get not one machine today. This bloody place I just cannot believe." And Jasmine is in damage control mode once more as she tries to placate the two women so clearly at odds. With all this noise going on, it's only a matter of time before Newman sticks his head out of the office just long enough to chastise somebody. Better look busy, I guess. "I'll make you a nice coffee, Vula," Jasmine suggests in her sickly sweet customer service voice. "And then I will make sure I find you a machine you can play, okay?" At the mention of free coffee, Vola relents in her tirade for a little bit. "Okay then," and she sighs. "I just want a skinny cappuccino with 2 sweeteners in it. Not sugar." "Coming right up," Jasmine says, and all but runs to the coffee machine where she makes Vula's coffee and then brings it out to her. All is quiet for a little while as I watch Vula sipping her coffee, and then I hear her coughing and spluttering and swearing in Greek loudly enough for us all to hear. Sure enough, Newman is soon out at the cashier station while I suddenly become immersed in my cash tickets and various other tasks to look busy. "Are you trying to bloody poison me, stupid girl?" Vula screams. "What the hell you put in this thing? It tastes bloody revolting." And then it occurs to me that little something I may have forgotten. Number 1, that I may have just used too much chemicals when cleaning the machine. I'm always doing that, damn it. And number 2, that I forgot to backwash and clean out the chemicals from a few of the filters. Oh well, if anyone looks at the security footage, it'll show me at the coffee machine looking busy, and that's the important thing. "I think I'm going to be sick," I hear Vula cry out, and then she makes a dash for the ladies' room to do just that. Newman looks like he's about to erupt, and because I know a thing or two about timing, I choose just this moment to say, "Well, there definitely wasn't anything wrong with the coffee machine because I cleaned it out with chemicals and then backwashed the system just like you said. Ran coffee through it a few times afterwards to get rid of the residue. Even made myself a coffee afterwards. I neglect to mention the Baileys I put in it, and it tasted fine. I then notice that there's a vein on his neck pulsing, and for a moment, I'm more worried that he may just have an aneurysm than anything else. Jasmine's hands appear to be shaking a little as she takes a coffee tray laden with mugs and plates back towards the bar. I can see how nervous she is, even though she's trying to put on a brave face and a fake, blindingly bright smile. And right at that moment, she trips and the tray goes out of her hands with coffee mugs and plates falling all over the place and a few breaking. This, for Newman, is the final straw. "Get out," Newman says bluntly and angrily as Jasmine gets to her feet and dusts herself off. "What do you mean?" Jasmine asks, still looking clueless as she stands there, and I almost feel sorry for her then. Almost. "I have a contract here," Jasmine is saying. "Christine, she tell me I have full-time job for—" "Just get the hell out of here," Newman barks then. "You've screwed up everything I asked you to do, you turn up late as usual, and on top of that, you can't even make a simple bloody coffee. I don't want to hear another bloody word out of your mouth, so just go home. Don't think for a second you're getting paid for today. You'll be lucky if the cost of those coffee cups doesn't come out of your paycheck this week." As Jasmine gets her things and then leaves while looking on the verge of tears. Newman calms down after a little bit, and then it's back to business. The business of saving face and avoiding legal trouble or bad word of mouth. "Kate," Newman says as she puts a load of coffee mugs into the dishwasher, "could you go and check on Vola?" It would be inappropriate for me or Mike to go into the ladies' room. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, and I'd have to resist the urge to stick her head in the toilet bowl and flush it repeatedly. Could be difficult. God, what a headache, Newman sighs. Really didn't need this on top of that other incident with that guy. Think I'll just take an aspirin and have a coffee. Oh shit, I'm thinking to myself. No, that's really not a good idea, I say quickly, maybe a little too quickly. And Newman looks at me. I mean, coffee and aspirin. I've heard they can be a really bad combination. I'm just saying I think you're better off sticking with water. And he thinks about this for a moment or so. Yeah, Newman agrees. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't need any more problems today. I've got Christine wanting to have a word with me about that thing the other day still, and when she hears about this, well, it's a good thing she's spending time over at the other club. Newman grabs a bottle of water from one of the fridges then, and heads back to the sanctuary of his office like an ostrich sticking his head in the sand. Everything is quiet out on the gaming floor for a little while as I'm left on my own. The calm after the storm, I suppose. And then Kate comes back to the bar shaking her head and she rolls her eyes. Bloody Jasmine, Kate complains. It should have been her that had to stand around listening to that Vula bitch moaning and throwing up and swearing in bloody Greek the whole time. Not me. She said she might not be coming back for a long time either. She might go back to the pokey place at Forest Hill, wherever that is. I just knew you'd be as sad as I was when I heard that, Mike. Yes, Kate, I reply, looking down at my paperwork. Why, I'm just heartbroken. First, our tradie friend leaves us, then Angry Joe, and now this happens. I can't see why we have to go see Julius, though. I mean, we're not the ones who beat him up. But here Kate just gives me a cold glare. I suppose this is a bad time to ask if you want to carpool there? I ask her, and she just shakes her head and begins walking away. What? I'm serious. With the cost of petrol, what it is at the moment, it just makes sense. Left to my own company once more, I begin to reflect on that whole two birds with one stone phrase again. I guess sometimes you can kill two birds with one stone, metaphorically speaking, or in this case, one bad cup of coffee, even if it's not the two you were thinking of. Jasmine seems to be on her way out already, and Vula has been left with a bad taste in her mouth that she probably won't soon forget. It seems like it's a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. Of course, if Christine comes down hard on Newman for his performance lately, and all the little incidents we've had then, I just know he's going to be looking for scapegoats of his own to blame everything on. Jasmine seems like an obvious choice, but all the same I resolve to myself to keep my head down and to do my best not to create any waves of my own for a little while at least.